Alma, thank you so much for inviting me to your favorite bar, the Dove in Hammersmith.
Thank you for coming.
Our good friend Hannah in Vertiv just before Christmas invited me to her favorite bar, and it was like you're actually in the bar.
I am
I'm
indeed.
not.
I have the my little Peroni as well to demonstrate me being Italian.
And we'll get on to that, I'm sure. But that is so authentic that you're sitting in the bar. I guess you've already said it, you're Italian.
I am.
But why is the Dove in Hammersmith such a great spot? And why is it your fave?
It's a very historic pub, so it's been around since the 1700s. Just in general in this area, it's just by the Thames Riverside, so there's a lovely view. Um, there's a nice sort of quaint atmosphere, and it's probably not one of the most famous and touristic parts of London, but it's very fascinating. I would actually invite you to visit it because rumor has it that George Orwell used to come to this pub, or Ernest Hemingway. So because I'm quite an avid reader myself, so I like to think that I'm sitting by the fireplace with them.
I'm listening at the moment to Audible, and 1984 is what I'm listening to. And he was George Orwell was some writer, but he was very deep and dark.
I sometimes feel that lockdown felt a little bit like an Orwell novel.
Do you know, you're probably right. It's sort of sometimes feels, certainly to me, it feels like Groundhog Day.
Very dystopian.
Yeah, but at least you're out and about, and you're looking great, and you're in one of your favorite bars, and you're having a Peroni. I suppose it's all relative. Things are improving. They're bad, but they're improving. So I see from behind me, there's all different bits and pieces in this bar.
Yes.
So let's assume that I'm sitting cozying up beside you there, right beside you, and I'm asking you a question. And I asked you, tell us a little bit of something that people don't know about you. What would you say?
I guess it's probably an odd fact about myself in that, so my friends call me the black belt in email writing. So basically, I really like writing emails. So obviously it's not like a great form of communication. Like in my mind, I don't like it in a way. Like say, if I have something urgent to tell my colleagues, obviously I wouldn't email them. I'll just call them or ping them or whatever. Yeah. But when I do get a chance to write an email and, for something formal, I actually take my time to do it properly. And, in my previous job, when I was in uni, I had a part-time job on the side, like as a PA, and I've very much learned to craft email properly, and I've learned to be a little bit, I don't want to say mean, but a little bit sneaky via email as well.
Right.
I think I have expressions or salutations that I would use based on whether or not I like the person, basically.
Wow, I'm going to have to post this chat. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. Now you've let all your secrets out.
I know. I have a girl that I'm training. I'm being a business mentor for a girl for a charity that we work with. It's called Rise Features. So we support vulnerable young adults, and because obviously she's in a placement in admin as well. So I am teaching her how to convey concepts in a way that get the message across, but also you're still professional.
Because it is interesting, isn't it, as we look through the different ages, that the written word is, if anything, it's becoming less and less of a communicative tool. Because my daughter, who's coming through, she's 12, 13, she only communicates via emojis or voice messages, not two-way, one way. Sends me a voice message. I guess it'll be like when you get a letter in the post, an email in 10 years. Oh, I have an email. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the fastest way to communicate, obviously.
But
Yeah,
you're a black belt. I think I get the gist. You're a black belt. So we want to write a cutting email or a focused email. We know who to call.
yeah, always available.
So you've just written a fantastic email and you've sent it into the lottery, and the lottery have said, guess what? We're going to give you £1,000,000 for that email. What would you do with that £1,000,000? If I gave you £1,000,000, I guess you're in Britain now, so it is pounds. What would you do with it?
As I said, I'm originally from Italy. I'm from a region called Puglia. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
Puglia.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I follow the soccer teams, so I sort of know where all the teams are.
Ah, perfect. So maybe for those who don't know, you know how Italy is shaped like a boot.
Yeah.
So Puglia is the heel of Italy, basically. So it's down south.
So down near Bari as well, isn't that?
Bari is in Puglia, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I got it.
Very good geography. So yeah, my city specifically, which is called Taranto, is about an hour from Bari. So it has the largest steel mill in Europe, and obviously because it was built like in the 50s and 60s, it was quite close to the city, which means it's extremely polluting, and it's caused a lot of growth economically, but also a lot of damage. And now there's a trial going on, and people have lost jobs, etc., etc. So obviously there's a double damage of like damage health and also damage the economy.
Yes.
So what I would do if I had £1,000,000 or euros, I would refurbish a masseria, which is the Italian equivalent of like a farmhouse. And you tend to have like restaurants and those, and spas and hotels, etc. And I would design it in a way that it's completely like circular and also self-sufficient. So I have my own energy generated in place with solar panels and a little water well. So I could provide good jobs for people that need it and also support the environment.
And obviously that's you. What age are you in the round? You don't have to give the exact age, but 20 something?
I'm turning 24 on Wednesday.
24. 24-year-olds now think in such wonderful ways compared to 24-year-olds when I was 24. Because you're really encapsulating that whole circular living.
Yeah.
Living. And I paused there slightly and didn't say economy because I think when we bring the word economy, it somehow brings us to more business, to think it's circular living. Isn't that effectively what I like to think of? Your generation, what they're particularly trying to do is what effect am I having? And what effect can I reduce? And what effect can I improve? And it's amazing that you'd used £1,000,000, because I can tell you, if I was 24, when I was 24, if I was given £1,000,000, I would be more inclined to be going to live in Barbados and a beach. Whereas it's so wonderful to hear that actually you're thinking about giving employment, restoring some of the wonderful old rustico farmyards, or, you know, it's great, you told a lovely story. I like stories. So, and is that, do you believe sort of that is then what weaves into your day-to-day, your social fabric, your business fabric? Is, you know, how do you arrive at such a young age to realize that, you know, what we take, we must give back, and we must plus with more? Is that something that you've always been brought up to believe in, or have you sort of driven that yourself?
For me personally, obviously, I was raised in Taranto. I was probably brought up, you know, in the worst times as well. So I have witnessed personally people genuinely not being able to make a living, or, you know, getting very ill because of the effects of the steel mill. So, that really influenced my personality. Growing up, I think all of my generation, we grew up quite angry, and we decided that, one day we wanted to be in a position to be able to change things and do something.
Wow. But it's nice to see that anger hasn't been channeled into apathy and destructive activities, that you're actually trying to get inside the system to change the system from within as distinct from outside, which is, I think, time has proven that that's probably a better way to do it. So there's one other question that I'd like, final question to ask you. Is there anything that you'd like to tell that not an awful lot of people know about? Teach about you, or teach me something I don't know, maybe even better.
Okay, so did you know that a petrol car can actually be more eco-friendly than an electric one?
I'd say I do, but not new ones. I'd be interested to know why, because I don't know why, but I have heard that it's better.
So the key is in the word life cycle. So a mistake that companies make a lot, or the media, is that they only focus on one stage of the life cycle, which is usually usage. So during use, it is true that most electric cars emit less CO2 or less carbon emissions in general than petrol. But obviously you take into account the manufacturing stage and also end of life stages, recycling, disassembly, etc. So we do this thing that I'm very passionate about. I actually did it for my final year project in uni. I've done a life cycle assessment of the steel mill that I mentioned to you from my own city. So it's a tool basically to measure all the environmental impacts throughout the entire life cycle, start to finish, in a way that you can't be misled, and there's no greenwashing involved, basically.
And you mentioned there, and I've heard it so much more of recent, it used to be total cost of ownership was the big thing people got involved in. Now I'm hearing a lot about LCO, life cycle, maybe not the O, life cycle costing, yes. So the whole, but not costing necessarily on money, costing to the environment, which I guess is another 3-letter acronym that we're all going to have to learn about. Alma, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned more than just about the car. I've learned about George Orwell's favorite bar, one of them. And I've also found that all Italians drink Peroni beer.
Most of us, yes.
Really? Is it like Guinness? Everybody says the Irish drink Guinness. Is it?
Peroni if you're from the south, or Moretti if you're from the north.
Oh, okay. That's a bit like Dublin and Cork here. So.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for bringing me to your favorite bar. I wish you the best, and I'm going to see you very soon. I know that.
Thank you. See you soon.